Hello students, I am Sunil Ranjan and I am an English teacher. Now, in this session, I have Weathering the Storm in Ersama, and this is chapter 6 from the book Moments. Fine. The first question is here. What havoc has the super cyclone wreaked in the life of the people of Orissa? And the answer is the cyclone brought heavy rains and strong winds. As a result, majority of houses had blown away and only strong cement houses were spared. Heavy and incessant rain filled the darkness. Old trees were uprooted and crashed to the earth. There was screaming all around. The wind blew at 350 km per hour. Trees crashed and damaged the roofs of the houses. Dirty water covered the land as far as the eye could see. Many people lost their lives. There were floating human bodies and swollen dead bodies of animals all around. Many people lost their relatives and many children became orphans. There was the shortage of food. Because of heavy damage and destruction, there was despair all around. Now, question number 2. How has Prashant, a teenager, been able to help the people of his village? And the answer is Prashant helped the people of his village by first getting a grip over himself because he was initially shocked on witnessing the after effects of the cyclone. He decided to step in as the leader of his village. He organized a group of youths and elders to jointly pressurize the merchant to give rise to the people living in the shelter. He was successful in his task. He organized a team of youth volunteers to clean the shelter of filth, urine, vomit, and floating dead bodies, and nurse the wounds and fractures of the injured. He brought a number of orphaned children together and put up a polythene shelter for them. He mobilized women to look after them. He persuaded them to start working in the Food for Work program, which was initiated by an NGO. He also organized sports events for children. Now, question number 3. How have the people of the community helped one another? What role do the women of Kalikuda play during these days? Now the answer is the people of the community got together and began to help one another under the leadership of young Prashant. Together they pressurized the merchant to help the people in the shelter by giving them rice. They gathered branches from fallen trees and lit a fire on which they cooked rice for all to eat. When the military helicopter dropped some food parcels but did not return, the youth task force gathered empty utensils from the shelter and made the children lie in the sand with the utensils on their stomachs to communicate to the passing helicopters that they were hungry. The message went through and the helicopter made regular rounds of the shelter, airdropping food and other basic needs. Women were mobilized to look after the orphans, while the men secured food and materials for the shelter. In spite of being grief-stricken, the women started working in the Food for Work program started by an NGO. Now, this answer is over, and now coming to question number 4. And the question 4 is, what do Prashant and other volunteers resist the plan to set up institutions for orphans and widows? What alternatives do they consider? I repeat the question. Why do Prashant and other volunteers resist the plan to set up institutions for orphans and widows? What alternatives do they consider? And the answer is, the plan to set up institutions for orphans and widows was resisted because it was believed that in such institutions children will grow up without love and affection, and widows would suffer from stigma and loneliness. Instead, Prashant and his group suggested that the children and widows should be resettled in their own community where they can get a homely environment. They suggested setting up of foster families made up of childless widows and children without adult care. Now the last question is, do you think Prashant is a good leader? Do you think young people can get together to help people during natural calamities? And the answer is yes, Prashant is a very good leader. Though he himself was too grief-stricken, he got a hold of himself and decided to step in as the leader of the village. He carried out his role effectively and helped the people of the village in every possible manner. And the second part of the question is, do you think young people can get together to help people during natural calamities? And the answer is yes. Young people can definitely get together to help people during natural calamities, and otherwise they can use their strength and vigor to help people. So this is the end of this session, and dear students, if you have subscribed to my channel, well, I feel happy, and if you haven't, then I suggest you to subscribe to my channel so that you get more and more in the time to come. Thank you.